Melodies. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the first episode of Sweet Melodies. And I am Lindsey Anastasia. And for more information on the podcast, you can visit lindsayanastasia.com. All right. So today I'm going to be sharing a story with you guys. It's going to be very brief because if I told everything of the story, then it would take completely all day. But I'm going to be sharing a story with you guys that's very personal for me. It was really hard for me to share this with you all, but I feel like this is something that has to be discussed because it's an ongoing problem and I haven't seen it get any better. Um, and I just feel like we need a better support system when it comes to finding resources and information for people that aspire to be creative and share their talents. So, what inspired me to basically go ahead and share this story with you all is because of one of the most trending topics right now, and that is the entanglement of Jada and August Alsina. So this topic between the two of them, this entanglement or whatever, it just caused a lot of different, things within myself that I haven't visited in some time. I am in a healthier place than I was at the time this story took place. I'm a lot more happier and I'm giving myself a lot more love and self care. And I'm not ignoring my emotions and what's healthy and unhealthy as far as my environment and friendships, relationships, all of that stuff. So, there's a big, huge age gap between August Alsina and Jada Smith, and that's, you know, why I had to share this story because I felt like I could relate to it a lot. Um, there's a 21-year age gap, and I've also been in a relationship where there was 20 years of an age gap. And it just caused me a lot of damage, a lot of heartache, and a lot of confusion within my identity and who I was. And I've seen the red table talk, I've seen the different comedies and people's opinions that's been shared all over social media. And I just felt like nobody wasn't really hitting the hammer on the nail. Nobody was really getting to the real issue, the real point. Everyone was kind of just beating around the bush and not discussing what truly needs to be discussed. Um so I'm gonna go ahead and hop into this story and I'm gonna share more of my thoughts so y'all can truly understand why I feel the way that I do. And I'm not judging anyone who they decide to be in a relationship with, how they decide to have a relationship, whether it's open, throuple, swinger. I don't really care what you do because what you do with your life, that's your decision. But I am here to share my experience and just my opinion. And let's get right into this story. So it all began when I was about, I think I was like 21 or 22. And I had just gotten out of the service, out of the military. I had just got my first apartment without the military. And I was kind of in a financial hardship. I was struggling to find a good steady job. And I was also going through or had just been divorced. And it was a very it was a hard time for me. I didn't really have a social life back at home. being in the military, I was stationed overseas. So I didn't really talk to that much people in the States, and I really didn't talk to nobody back home. And I was just kind of lonely, sad, and yeah, I was kind of miserable. And I had seeked for balance in my life through my music, my poetry, and I didn't. I loved sharing that my craft with other people. And one day I ended up meeting this guy. He heard my voice. He said how talented I was, and he said he knew someone that could like he knew someone that could do some sessions with me. And he would see if they could do it at a discount rate. Um, we he ended up um giving my information to the guy. The guy called me. We exchanged information. We scheduled a time. I started going to the studio, working on music with him. He had a great personality at the time for me in my mind. I felt like he was very charming. He was funny. He was a lot older. Definitely, he was. I knew it when I first met him. I wasn't seeking a relationship of any sort. I wasn't seeking to be sexual. I was the only relationship I was seeking was a business relationship. I had never been to a studio before. The only real job that I had, other than a few fast food places or just, just like being in like a business quote unquote atmosphere of what, because I didn't know what that was. I didn't know what a business atmosphere was. I didn't know the game and how it was played. The only real job I had was the military. The only real experience I had with anything that was serious was the military. You know, I was still young. Yeah, I had been in college because I did major in musical theater before I went off to the military, but I'd never really had that experience um when it came to, you know, just doing music and stuff on a serious like in a serious business environment. I didn't know anything about it. Didn't know the ins and outs and how shit works. Um so I think like he at the time this guy had took advantage of it. This man, letting me call him guy. Um he was very honest when we first met. He said that he wanted to um like after about like the third or fourth session, cuz he had started giving me free sessions cuz he asked me what my income was. I shared my situation, and I think he knew that I was vulnerable, and of course that I didn't have any real knowledge because I was young. And I told him, "Hey, I just got out the service." So he was very honest from get that he wanted to have sex with me and he wanted me to be his girlfriend. At first, of course, I told him, because it was just weird. Like, no man had ever just came to me and was like, I want this, I want that. Um, and I just went for it. I didn't really try to get to know this dude. And I wouldn't say I didn't do it necessarily. Most people like, oh, well, like, because I know some people have said about me that knew of this situation when I was currently dating this dude, that I was doing it because I was using him, but it was actually the other way around because that's not the kind of person that I was. Maybe they didn't know that because they just, whatever. Of course they didn't know, or maybe they didn't. They just didn't give a fuck and they were being assholes. But I genuinely wasn't. I really, I became emotionally involved with this person. Um, he had like 6 kids. I met children and helped him out around his house. We ended up moving in together. We traveled together. He took me to different events because he had some quote unquote ties in the industry. I just fell for the bullshit and I became a part of his game. And the longer I stayed with him, the worser it became. It was like I completely lost sight of who I was and why I initially even met the guy. Um, because he became involved in my finances. Um, of course, he was dicking me down on occasions. I'm not trying to. I know that's TMI. Somebody's gonna be like, "What the fuck did she just say?" But yeah, like he was. He had me on a whole nother fucking like world of confusion. Like I was fucking out of it, and I was doing fucking drugs. It was always alcohol, drugs, um, music, and just party, party, party all the fucking time. And I didn't realize that I was dealing with somebody that was broken. Um, and I got too far deep into it that, you know, my rose colored glasses slowly started to come off, but it took some time. It was challenging for me. I was really young and I did not know what I was getting myself into. I didn't feel comfortable telling him no because he actually had a status and he had a reputation. He knew a lot of different people and it seemed like he could make things happen that at that time I believed I could not make happen for myself. So I let him control my world for that time. And it's it was a really big regret of mine and kind of, sometimes I feel that I still regret it, but at the end of the day, I had just hit a learning curve and I'm glad that I got to experience it because now I can speak out, speak up for other people that may be experiencing the same thing that I'm going through or somebody may try to put them in that situation where they isolate you from everything and it's like it turns emotionally abusive because this person is way older than you and you just feel inferior like you have no choice but to deal with them and be around them and you're like slowly killing yourself. So that's that's what I was experiencing and it was very damaging to me. It was damaging to my soul because I was mixing and mingling with different energies. I was participating in toxic activities. Everything was toxic. The environment, my mindset, what I believed. I was even convinced at one point that I loved this old man. It was terrible. It was tragic. And I just I just want the best for all the other men and women that are young and that have probably put themselves in that position. Because at the end of the day, you got to realize for someone that much older than you to claim that they want to be in a serious relationship with someone that is as young as you, it's a void in that particular person that they're trying to fill with you because why would they seek someone so much younger that's still growing and trying to and that hasn't even hit the peak of all the different experiences, in their own life. Like you're coming into somebody else's life, and usually that's somebody that's been through the same thing, you know? So it's like a repeating, occurring cycle, you know, with young people and people that are way too old for them, you know. This man wanted to make me think that I was lower than what I was. He wanted to control me, and he knew that because I was young, he could do that because he's been playing this game for so long. You know, there was one thing that he said to me that stuck to me for a very long time. Like even now and again, sometimes the memory will just spark. But now I'll just laugh about it. But at that time, it had really hurt me when he said it. He said, "Lindsey, who's gonna produce your shit? Who gonna give you a fucking session? Like who's gonna do your music for you?" Type shit. That's basically what he said. Like trying to make me assume, by him saying that, manipulating me to assume that I'm not talented, I'm not worthy, if it ain't got nothing to do with him. Because I was worthy of love. I know that I am, and was talented, always been. It's always been in me. He made me feel like I could not do anything for myself, that I was weak without him. So it was very emotionally abusive. I definitely did try to leave the situation because I was living with him at the time and it was way too much drama. And I just started to feel very uncomfortable. Um, he was involved with different females at the time, and was not okay with that. He was trying to do like a polyamorous sort of thing, and I had ended up finding out that he was actually still married. So I didn't want to be involved in that. Um so I tried to leave a couple of times, and he will always, try to stop me, talk to me, be like, "Don't leave. I need you here, and I want you here, and I love you, and I care about you." And all that craziness. It definitely confused me. Um, it definitely confused me. It made me go crazy. His crazy latched on to me. That energy definitely hit me, which was not okay. And I became like really like aggressive with people that I, you know, were friends with. Um I started becoming aggressive with my own family. Like it was not healthy at all. I was not in a healthy state. And because he wanted to be involved with these different women, it made me feel so undeserving of happiness. I got to a point where I was like, well, if I can't make him happy for just me, then I don't want to be happy at all. I don't want to be with anybody at all. Like, girl, like what the fuck was going on through my head? Just craziness. That energy hit me hard. And it was so fucking damaging and toxic. I I had finally reached the point where I was like, okay, I'm really, really leaving. And I left. I stayed at a friend's, and I felt a sense of, okay, hope that maybe the relationship could be worked out. That shit was dumb. The rose colored glasses started to come off at this moment. So there was definitely a lot of healing that I had to do. I tried to get my music from him because I actually never had my own share copy. So he told me that he was not going to give me my music. It was really frustrating. It was heartbreaking to me because our whole relationship really started with the music. That was the whole point of even meeting him, was to work on music and to get it distributed out there for the world to hear. So this had made me very, very like just ignorant. Like I was determined to get my music. In attempts of me trying to collect my music and have a conversation with him, things started to turn like completely left drastically. Things became physical. I was jumped, which soon I was jumped by him and his girlfriend at the time, which turned to me being choked, almost like completely just passed out. Like I remember he had his arm over my neck and I felt like it was going to be my last breath. I thought I was going to die that day. And he just looked me straight in the eyes. No compassion, no emotion, no nothing. And he would release me at like what felt like my last moment. Like at the exact right time is when he had released me. And I was just completely just fed up. This man had put me through financial loss. He had caused so much emotions within me. He made me feel like he was going to kill me. He had stripped away a piece of my heart and what felt like my it felt like my whole entire like life was over. Um and I tried everything I could in order to make things right and at least go back to a normal friendship to where I could just get my music and go on about my business. But every time when I tried to handle things more maturely and get back to what was most important to me, the music, he would flip it and still try to have like a sexual relationship with me. And it just got real disrespectful, made me feel disgusted, where he felt like it was okay to just pull down his pants and just wave his dick around, hoping that I'll put my mouth on it or touch it. So I now have no involvement with this man at all. I don't plan on having any involvement. Um, yes, he still has um most of my music. I was able to get like one or two songs, but that was it. At this point, I just really just don't care that much about it because I just decided I would redo the songs with someone else. Um because I did write the song, so the lyrics are mine technically, but the whole production, whatever, he can have that. But this is why I'm sharing this story with you guys because people in high places, no matter how great their social status is or their reputation, no matter how many resources they have or where they can be in the industry with the knowledge they have of the industry, you really got to do a deeper background of them and not just whatever you read on Google or what you read from blogs or you know the people that surround them. You have to do your own investigation and really get a feel out for them. And as soon as you get that first red flag, you need to just completely leave them alone. Because the more you let them in, and you might just think, oh, it's just one time, or you know what, I actually like this person's personality. It can actually turn into something really disgusting. It can turn into something damaging. It can turn into something that you really have to take time to grow from. I don't ever want to see my little sisters or my friends or any man or woman, my little brothers, anybody. I don't want to see nobody go through nothing like this or hear about anybody going through nothing like this. Um because I know like how painful it is. And not only that, but it's very embarrassing and even humiliating for, you know, for you potentially, cuz you're putting yourself in harm's way and somebody can really make you look to make you out to look like a completely, you know, just dumbass uh weak person. I'm not weak at all. I'm strong. And I don't even want to say that I'm weak for even experiencing this. I feel like I have such a big heart, and it's actually a good thing. Sometimes I hate it because things like this happen to good people. But it's an issue. So the whole going back to the Jada and the August Alsina situation, we're just on the outside looking in. You don't know how deep it is, you know, and it's it it takes a lot of growth, you know, for somebody to even share that, because I'm pretty sure just as embarrassing as everybody felt it was for Jada, or her husband Will. Think about how humiliating it is for August. And you also got to think about it. This is not the only situation that we've heard about when it comes to just the entertainment industry in general. It happens everywhere. Anybody that's seeking, um, their dream and they're seeking mentorship and a friendship from somebody that they believe is wiser than them at first appearance, this stuff can happen to them. And it's disheartening. So we got to start talking more about this stuff and making our communities aware of it. We have to start talking to each other more and embrace each other and not just look down on each other at first glance. Um, think about it. Like we've had even just recently we had the whole R. Kelly situation with him and all those young girls and all of those women and families coming forward. It's real out here, you know. So that's my experience. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Um, or I wouldn't say you might enjoy it, but I hope you guys really took something from it. And I really appreciate those of you that made it all the way to the end. This is serious, and we have to start, opening our arms up. And well, it's a pandemic. I was about to trying to speak in like hugging terms, but we just gotta, show a lot more love to each other and really respect how each other shares our stories. We have to be more open to it, because how is there going to be any change if all you're going to do is just assume the worst and blame the victim for um a predator's activity, you know? Because wanting to feel good is is like the worst excuse for dealing with somebody that is 21 years younger than you. Don't forget that this man was 23 when this whole entanglement started. Okay? We don't need any more entanglements. We don't need none of that, okay? So, every Wednesday there will be a new episode. Love you guys. Have a beautiful, blessed day. Peace out.